Good afternoon. Hello.
Hey, hey. Oh, well.
Hello. Sorry.
I got it.
Hello.
Okay.
I don't think you heard me. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Brandon D. Johnson, and this is the American Poetry Museum. First of all, let's have another hand for Alan Blackman on keyboards, Greg Holloway on drums, and Don Pepe Gonzalez on bass. This afternoon, and as Sammy calls it, Poetry Church, we have Alexa Patrick and Rasheed Copeland. Alexa is a vocalist and poet from Connecticut. She holds fellowships from Cave Canem, Obsidian, The Watering Hole, and the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities. Alexa is currently the programs director for nonprofit writing program and publishing house Shout Mouse Press. This spring, Alexa will also make her stage production debut as Unsung in the opera We Shall Not Be Moved, directed by Kennedy Center Honors and Tony Award recipient Bill T. Jones. You may find her work in publications including Adroit, The Rumpus, Crown Magazine, and the Breakbeat Poets Volume 2, Black Girl Magic. Her debut collection, Remedies for Disappearing, is on the table and available for sale. Rasheed Copeland is a native of Washington, D.C. He is the author of The Book of Silence, Manhood as a Pseudoscience, and is a multiple recipient of the DC Commission of the Arts and Humanities Fellowship Award. He has performed and facilitated writing workshops across the country and internationally. He placed second in the world at the 2015 Individual World Poetry Slam. His work has been featured in online publications such as Poets.org, Split This Rock, and the Crab Orchard Review. I don't need to say much about them except I know their work. It is great, and I know they'll live up to that. So please enjoy Rasheed Copeland and Alexa Patrick.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to move this up here a little bit so I can see your pretty symmetrical faces. How are you doing? Good? Okay, wonderful. I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to start out with some auntie poems. Is that okay? No, we're good. Thank you. Okay. I have wild aunties, and I think all of us do. There's something that happens when you become an auntie, when you're just like, something just switches a little bit. My aunties were so wild, we called them the vigilante aunties. And so I'm going to be doing some poems about them. This piece is called Sugar. Gathered like sunflowers at the breakfast table, 6 sisters share a midnight. Wash down 7-Up cake with a kind of laughter, reminding you they are in the choir. Bells in their throats like hallelujah, the sweetest thing. This before their hands cracked from prayer and spanking babies, when they'd pinch blood into their cheeks, fix the lipstick, gracefully announcing the small mole they all kept at the corner of their mouths, so pretty, even their sharpest words were frosted. I come from sugar, the way a hymn comes from grief or praise. I have so many ways to return. grease my scalp with the same oil I use for pans, and find myself in a Pittsburgh kitchen, forget everyone's name and weep because I love them, dream of pistols under pillows, wake up bitter about husbands I don't yet have, every morning a manicured finger pointing home. Grandma Jerry went first, winked at my mother from the casket. Aunt Willa passed on her 102nd birthday. They all know how to make an exit, make us mourn in confection. Grace, not dead, but heirlooms like beauty mark or recipe there, even in the cavities left behind. Their stories coat my teeth until I too am beside them. Never alone or lost, just alive, with their names trailing like crumbs to God. I know I said I wanted the music stand, but now it's like it's holding me back. I'm trying to be with the people. Shout out to the vigilante aunties. They were also like notorious flirts, so I come by it honest. Let's see. This next piece is called "One Time the Aunties Made Lamb for Joe Morton." Y'all know who Joe Morton is, right? The daddy on Olivia Pope's little show, Scandal. Okay, cool. Just making sure. One time the aunties made lamb for Joe Morton. After the play, the sisters swarmed him like flies to melting candy or mushrooms to wet earth, flashing their frills. And he did not mind, because the metronome of their heels made any man forget his long day, staining his collar and remember the wide chest beneath. And the sisters were all walking eyelashes. If the color pink could sing, decorated demands in lace before he even noticed he was exactly where they wanted, sitting, hungry. Husbands off somewhere in their Saturday, cigar, leather-thick basement where they'd loosen ties and tongues, expect wives to wait, obey. But obedience was for the homely girls, not the 6 of them leaning into this handsome celebrity like stems in a tall glass before they had to return to the quiet business of Sunday. They smiled, purled in a twang that too knew the Bible by heart. Baby, what's your favorite meal? Even though I didn't get a chance to meet a lot of those aunties, I still feel like they taught me a lot about resistance, a lot about beauty, a lot about, taking up space and doing so fiercely. And so this piece is also an ode to them, even though it's not directly about them. It's called Vigilante. In the war against me, I am the fortress, cold, standing, around me a moat that is also me, running circles and licking dirt, cannons spitting from the roof, black as me, exploding like me, clapping through the air. In the war, the knights are me and the knights are me, riding their strong, tired horses whose hooves arpeggio the mud, creating a song that is me. My dance card is full. Soldiers keep coming to offer their gentle hands. Men who live in my building, whose daughters went to my school, whose daughter I am, who are 20 years my senior, who aren't men yet, who have signed my checks, who against metro stations line themselves like artillery and whistle clean as exit wounds. Of course my humanity has hollowed. Mercy burned down with all the other small towns. The smoke? Yeah, that's me too.
Hello, how y'all doing? My name is Rasheed Copeland. I'm gonna do some poems for y'all. And I'm trying to work on a friend of mine's, Candace Hilo. They clock that, like, I get up here and I'll say, I'm gonna do some poems and get on out y'all way, as if, y'all didn't halfway come to see me do these. So I'm gonna get some poems in and, be present. Can we get a hand for the band? I'm gonna try something like real impromptu, if that's all right. Got some musicians out here. I guess I can start and then y'all just come in. And there we were, thinking that we were more than just the mannequins to tailor the caskets to. Believing that we were actually worth more than just our weight in food stamps. Seems we can't escape this bad and beautiful luck. Seems even the moon follows us everywhere like the clerk at the corner store. Shines on us like a clock always striking 12. Returning the grass back into stone, snatching all the children gone missing off of their milk cartons and laying them back down for a good life sleep beneath the riverbed, the ache, back into our hearts for us to carry like mother does infant, to keep hauling our bodies to and fro, like the most elegant pallbearing we know, grow more amazed at how each day they wrap in new ribbon a block that was just gauzed in caution tape, and how now I look like the thief, standing in the same spot where I was once robbed of my innocence and my Jordans, amidst a crowd of row houses boarded up at the eyes, swearing they ain't see nothing and the neighbors ain't see nothing. The new neighbors make fences of their smiles, but cannot hide the fear in their eyes, and I have seen their worst fears. Most days they are in my mirror, a scene that takes my breath away, and I am never sure if I will get it back. I would not wish this on them unless they could know how to let pain stick to their ribs long enough to miss a dinner or two. Those I never burdened unless I could see in their face where the famine had been handed down like an heirloom way before we were even a cataract in our father's eyes. Long before our parents were curled up together in a crack pipe, treated their bodies as to agree to sometimes put their pain in their children's name like the cable bill. No, their blood is too different. All blue inside their bodies, their spoons all silver and unburnt at the bottom, and I come from a long line of faces that only a mother could mourn. Got cousins that look nothing alike, save the striking resemblance they share in the bullet wound. We got skin so black it gets lost in the asphalt when an unmarked jumps the curb and empties out into the corner, a nightmare's worth of cops with green thumbs, ready to plant dime bags on us, or even worse, plant us back into the earth. Type of skin to be a quarantine into itself. Could not rub off on anyone despite everyone's fear of its contagion. This fright of what clothed my bone and shadow, grabbing hold of them and dragging them back to our gutter to live out the rest of their days as if the moment they step foot in it, a better place wouldn't be built around them. One with stores and houses that call us a nigger to our face, dare us to make our money talk back and wait as we open our mouths like wallets and they are empty with nothing to say. Thank you.
The first boy to call me beautiful had hair like a kinked fist, walked down the hallway, radius of curl, beckoning white hands he'd allow. I'd watch a little light in him dim. This a language us onlys have, where no language need exist at all. Survival, head nod. Mitchell was his name. He came to our town escaping a poor Harlem corner, moved in with a white family, started playing lacrosse. Think Fresh Prince meets The Blind Side meets other stories of brown boys who could never fit. This while I convinced myself to like salad just for the Abercrombie jeans hanging in my closet. Push straight hair over sodium hydroxide scabs. The need to fit, louder than the burn crawling up my neck. Most times, his friends, no-lip white boys spit in my direction, then messaged me to ask what my mouth might do, knowing they passed me in hallways later, laughing, laughing, laughing. Imagine my joy, looking down to see his name lighting the phone, a new tone ringing as blood pushed and softened the black of my cheeks. You're beautiful. From the only boy who might understand what those words mean. But don't tell anyone I said that, okay? Do I get music too?
Yes, we're going to tell you that.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm taking it personally at this point. I was like, I want a little jazz. Okay. Yeah, you can just hop in when it feels good. Okay, thank you. These are gonna be sad high school poems. Yeah. So, so slow, mellow, minor. Zoe mourns her first. One look at his ruddy face and you knew he drove a truck. Drank too much, cursed at his mother. A bully some MTV movie imagined and spat into our small town. These are the boys I got while girls like Jackie brought boyfriends home from dinner, pressed corsages into yearbooks. Luxuries we dreamt into old MASH games and buried in lockers with the rest of our teenage debris. I wanted more. And even a mean boy's lips can blow dust off wonder, you know? Teach the reckless business of back seats where I'd sneak with him every Saturday, attempting to memorize the turbulence of his breath. So much anger squatted there in the air around his flayed syllables, claiming space where apologies should have been. I thought the nights he held me were worth the days he passed in the hallway, not even a hello. I thought the times he touched me earned the times he struck, injury ancillary to what I wanted so badly to be tender. One last one before I invite Rasheed back up. This piece is called For K. It's a ghazal poem after Angel Nafis. Another sad black girl high school poem. Because it's what I do. One look at you and they never knew. You carried a religious thud, sister. A small dimness hostaged your sky. That school paid you in mud, sister. Spectacle stomach, pageant chest. They tried to dam that blood, sister. Occupied the tongue with a stillness. Silence punctured you like a stud, sister. Chose flight over death, and still you echo in this town. A dove, sister. No language for what we shared, but between us, a kind of blood, sister.
Hey, I'm back, y'all. And no, you cannot have my last few breaths. I've saved these for myself, to do whatever I please. After a long day of rationing the others to everyone else, I might cry with these. Might steam them out of my nose after holding a swallow of cognac in my mouth and washing it down my throat. Might employ them to float a kiss across the room to the babies. Croon a Stevie song. Use my pitchy sounds to feel beautiful. I got art to be. Stretch until I am an origami of extremities. Breathe and I'm a table. A child. A crow. A cobra. A warrior. Because today, my breath did not spill violently the way it does when the hypothetical blues corners me in thought. When I am forced into endless scenarios that prove inescapable in this body of barricades, each sanctioned by a scar, its embargo brought to me by the hostility of history. I would let you hold a breath, but I got things to do with them. Lately, I've been using them to become a product of my own spells, and not just the high ventriloquism that moved my mouth and spoke into me my vintage misery. No, for the moment, I've ceased the pain that preached jest beneath my knowing. I've been returning to myself, and each time is the first time I've been here. And it was love that brought me back across, the kind that I could only find inside. The type that saw my world tossed in flame, then assured me that I was a body of water. Picture it. Sun-crazed skin across the body, once muscled from shouldering the weight of an incredibly cruel world. Now, from the repetition of choosing myself each day. Can't you tell I'm watered in love? Moisturized by prayer uttered way before my mother knew her favorite color. The type of kept that only those who hid language beneath memory and synapse while being smuggled across an ocean could even dream of knowing. I'm getting the type of rest that will coax tears from their marrow, snoring their favorite spirituals, and I know they love it for me. I'm unbelievably gorgeous. The type of hot that could turn down the big house and leave not a trace of evidence. They cannot disappear me, although they have tried and tried again to wipe me out like a blemish. Although I am decidedly a beauty mark, I am taking my meds and they are not taking me. Chemically, I am a still seed despite their efforts to trouble my water. I've been drinking my water. Can't you tell I'm watered in love? That I can gaze at my lady and not trap her in my eye? Kiss her on the lips and don't even slip any of my meaning into her mouth. Ain't raised a hand at my child since the tender age of 3, when she looked me in the face with my own eyes and told me no. And instead of raising my hand, I lifted a curse. First of many. I'm getting free. Come with me.
You got something just like, I don't know, heavy and soulful? Just something with like a body? I don't know how to describe it. Like a slow funk. How poets describe music. A little slower. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I got this. The black men outside the waterfront Safeway catcall me. And I'm sure it's not me who they call for. DC winters make any contact, flickering lash, a fire to put your hands over. They stand like barren trees. Crooked teeth shiver like hood castanets, reminding them of worlds other than corners. I wonder who they have at home to be tender to. If they paid the bill. If this small moment of devotion runs like a furnace. In this city of rush hours and new buildings, of no one here is from here anymore, even the air becomes brittle with lonely. Maybe they yell, "I love you," just to hear the echo. And you can keep this going, because I got another one with the same kind of vibe. If I can find it. The black men outside the waterfront Safeway play Lil Jon. Heads heavy with ones and twos, they perch outside the grocery, sucking teeth at new neighbors rushing home with LaCroix boxes. Neighbors who don't make eye contact, fearing what they might find in the baseline of their brilliant irises. One makes a hi-hat of spit on pavement, and for a moment I think a sword lily could grow there, where his mouth spills, its vibrant skin reclaiming concrete. When I walk by, they call me Miss Lady, as a father might call me by my name, and my chest blooms in unison with their speakers, the familiarity of its incessant clap. You'd think it is survival. Even as I walk into the store, music fading to silence, each brown face beckons a nod as if to say, "We still hear it, we still hear it, we still hear." All right, and I'm just gonna do one more before inviting you back up, sir. Are y'all feeling okay? You're good? You're quiet. You got music and poetry happening, and you're just like, I just want, it's hot? Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm like, but are you all right? Okay, cool. I know I'm like over here in the AC chilling. So I'm sorry. One last one. This one is slow but hopeful. Do with that what you please. Beats Okay, no, I trust you. And y'all know Sammy got water, right? Just making sure. Good. Stay hydrated, y'all. Stay hydrated. This piece is called On Disappearing. Look, the men crowd corners, gather like anomalies bloomed, a constant spring, thaw what tried to take them. They clap their hands to go-go, and embers leap from their palms just to emphasize the point, signal the choir for when one don't show up. The matches of their fingers strike, lighting memories like Lucy's. And this is what I excavate in the minute it takes to walk by. Eyes still smelling like the small town I came from, still staring the way my mother taught me not to, but they all uncles sweat and father's shoulders. Certainly, their mamas worked alongside their mamas. Certainly, I've sat next to their sons on the train. Certainly, they are my cousins, kissing teeth at falling buildings, pouring liquor for fallen people, buried only to grow into our own faces. My people are stubborn, die soon, and become heirlooms. Our legacies screaming like streetlights. Tell you to go home in the same way they tell you to come here. And there, saltwater, summer tar, slow dance, Bible verse, birthmark, bad temper, flat tire, flat line, funeral feast, sunflowers, opening wide like a fire. Thank you, y'all.
Try as I may, I can't quite seem to make it through this world if there's a place between us. Can't quite seem to make it through the forest or see the forest for the poplar trees that once thieved air from an old kin's lungs. Can't quite see you, and what a blindness that has proven to be. All I've ever wanted was to lay my eyes on you and never lift them up again. But in a dream, I took your foot into my lap, and with my thumb, visited upon your heel a paradise where we are no longer running from their fears and fielding their imaginations with a grand performance of our breathing here. We can be niggas if we so please, with nary a halo, nor a collar, nor Alicia breadcrumbs leading us back to a white idea here. Fear ain't our homeland. We aboriginal to love. We spoon in the dark of ourselves, unashamed when God flips his tongue and lets the light be. We are the light. In this love, we are allowed to be. Our breath, the only deed we need to our bones, its heat, tethered to the napes of our necks until it is a language of its own, a welcome change from the nagging of rope. My dear, I was meant to be a machine. Was not purposed to make this music of you, to mouth the harmonica of your collarbone. No, I come from a lineage of odd men once betrothed to their corroded shackles. Their babies sold off mid-suckling as their brides cried over the spilled milk. That shadow is still cast across my sky. Most days I have half the mind to die, but thank God the other half has stayed on your lips. How they kiss the forehead better than a bullet. How they bellow and beckon me back home when I'm called out of my name and I exit it, stumbling into the wilderness of a cold, cold voice, and you say my name like it is a way you want to live. Like it is the only one you'd ever known. I watched it dance off your lips to stick to me. It felt old folk and home-cooked meal, and I thought, let me die to this feeling. Let me be lucky enough to have this be how it finishes. Realized it wasn't luck. Just what happens when God decides to finish my sentences, decides to grant me a bit of forgiveness for all the hearts I broke trying to get here, including my own. Decides to grant me a spring that lasts all life long. A June stuck in the way your smile blooms because he knew I was no longer a flower. Just a floor full of petals, counted down to the last love me not. Sent me your face for all I forgot, and what a gorgeous hue of deja vu it was. What a therapy to cure the amnesia from my bones. You said hello, and I heard welcome home. Unpack the bags from beneath your eyes. I've been waiting for you. Grazed your lips with mine, and it tasted like sugar and answered prayer. Like a forever's worth of lazy Saturdays spent making love from scratch. I think back to it when I am trapped in the black of their musing. I muse back to my fingers, greasing your scalp. How I take the oil and plot an escape route throughout your parts. Dream of tomorrow, another day to lay in your bravery. Loving me like I ain't prone to vanishing. Like I ain't a saboteur of sorts. A tomb for all they've killed and hid inside me, bubbling tenfold, waiting to haunt whoever gets too close for you. I try and coax the warmth that is not a friendly fire, that does not turn into ash, the one I love most for you. I try and be a better me, and they want us dead. Even if not decreed from their mouths, you can feel it in the air, in their ways, their laws, their gods, how they blaspheme the throbbing in our chests that called us into each other's arms. They tried to undo our beauty, gave us the dirt of graves. But damned if we ain't tilled this land of loss until it became a fertile place. You took my seed and thought it not a blues in your belly. Took the coating of my eyes and housed it inside an egg so that we'd live after death. Thank you. Ooh, that was nice. Can we get something like a little bit upbeat, like the one before we got to the slower? A little just.
Yeah, something upbeat. Oh, yeah, well, that's what I think.
Yeah, right, yeah. There we go. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Yes, keep that. Cool. Shout out to the homies. My mans in them is beautiful, but will hurt you if you call them or treat them as such. They are God, prison industrial, and Oedipus complex. Got girlfriends for fathers. Will not kiss them in public, but will leave hickeys on the neck of a bottle of Hennessy until the burn feels like a love in their chest. My mans and them don't do well with affection. Swear they ain't emotional. My mans and them don't know that anger is an emotion that rules them into loving with their fist. Left hooks make hay out of their toddler's chest, turns their sons into brick walls just like them. But my mans and them will die for their daughters, just won't live for their daughters' mothers. Closest thing they get to an I love you is a monthly deposit or a bouquet full of knuckles. My mans and them stay not loving these hoes, but my mans and them is hoes, so they stay not loving themselves. My mans and them put all their bros before all their hoes and yet still are oddly homophobic. Spend all their time manning up. Never got to be boys, lost their virginities at 12, but swear they are not abused. My mans and them use fucking as a political tool. It is one of the only ways they know how to exercise power. My mans and them pull out game, strong. But that baby ain't got my eyes game, even stronger. My mans and them are brilliant. They are School of Hard Knock, GED, jail GED, Lincoln Tech trained, magna cum laude, PhD, but can't read. Between the lines wrinkled in a woman's brow as she declines their advances. No, my mans and them want to know if your man allow you to have friends. Can he handle competition? When all else fails, my mans and them got a million reasons loaded in the chamber for why they ain't like your ass anyway. My mans and them love pussy, hate women, especially the black ones. My mans and them dream of running away to where the grass is blonder, and long gone are the women who house them like organs, who mourn them and crown them and raise them from the dead. My mans and them are self-healing, lick wounds with forked tongues, can split a swisher better than Moses can part the Red Sea, better than social services can split up their families. My mans and them head of household at age 13, same age they learned magic, how to make a dime bag disappear with the slap of a thigh. Same age they learned alchemy, untucked the steel and turned it into a stranger's gold, run pockets the way white men run stock markets, live in a shoebox economy, 401k plan hidden beneath the Sealy Posturepedic. My mans and them is beautiful, but can't feel it. Only smile for the mortician, only cry at funerals. And every time they decide to breathe, my mans and them don't know no better. Yet I do, and never check them, never show them better. And I'm beginning to wonder exactly what that says about me.